Hello. Don't panic. Don't panic. Everyone relax. Just because we thought they were going to win in 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever. Don't panic. Relax. Relax. Yes, that game kind of sucked. That wasn't ideal. Certainly not the start the Golden Knights wanted. Certainly took them a little bit too long to get to what they wanted. Offensively, you probably need more out of your forwards. You need a little bit more traffic. Somebody's got to finish these ones when you get the opportunities. There are definitely things the Golden Knights can be better at. Like, there's no doubt about it. There's no argument that they need to be better in a number of different places. And they're going to have to create a little bit more traffic. And then I do think at some point you're going to have to figure out when are you going to be able to beat this team, and are you going to be able to beat this team when they go ahead? Like, that's kind of the main thing for me is the Golden Knights got behind. They didn't play all that well for a majority of the middle period. And then in the third period, you're chasing a game. You're down by 2. They did a pretty good job of getting themselves at least somewhat back into the game, put themselves in a good position to possibly tie it up late. And I think, at least for me, I felt like they had a pretty good chance of tying that game up. Like, I wasn't sitting there in the third period saying there's no chance. When it was 3-0, I wasn't saying there was no chance. Like, I don't think that this is the type of game that you look at and you say, oh, that one got away. Yeah, I mean, there were parts of it, and there's no doubt that, like, there's something to be said about how long it took them to get going, and that the forecheck wasn't exactly on top of them like it was in game 1. I think there were some adjustments made by Montreal that helped them get out of the zone a little bit, but there are still some good things that the Golden Knights are having. You know, when they win a draw in the offensive zone, they have the answers. They have the ability to get in front. These shots are going through. Good things are happening. Defensively, I think for the most part, they've been able to get out of their own zone consistently. They've been able to enter the zone offensively without any issues. I think the neutral zone is still giving them some problems. There was a crispness issue at the beginning of the first period for sure. There's no argument to be said that anything beyond that, other than they just weren't crisp at the beginning of the period. I do think that I'm going to need to watch the game at least once back, and maybe a second time. We're going to do that tomorrow, and we'll hop on Twitter Space and we'll figure out what we learned from that. I don't think this is some sort of end of the world situation. It's not that big of a deal that they lost one here. I don't think it's impossible for Vegas to win up there. Again, like, it's not really that big of a deal. Obviously, not giving up a single power play in a game that you lose is not ideal. Yes, I record every single game and I watch every single game at least twice. Once live, then I watch every game back, and then from there, it depends on, how many times I need to watch it again. I have a feeling this one I will probably look to watch multiple times. Third period, I feel like, is kind of the one that I'm going to let go for now. I'm looking at kind of that third period as the response, and they were able to get back into it. And, if you're behind, are you able to get consistently in the zone? Are you able to set up? I think there's something to be said about the constant low to high. That's kind of the only way that they're trying to generate offense at this point, especially when they're behind. If Montreal is committed to blocking shots, and if Price is stopping the ones that he sees, you need a little bit of puck luck for him to go. They were able to get 2 of them today, both off of Petrangelo's stick. I don't know how much of it's puck luck, how much of it, whatever. By the way, if you're watching this on Periscope on Twitter and there's some sort of issue, I've been told there's some sort of issue recently. If you're watching this on Periscope on Twitter and it's not working very well, turn off Twitter and go to YouTube. It seems to be way better on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. It's just SinBin.vegas on both of them. So you can get them on either, or come back and watch the replay afterwards. They get loaded to all 3 platforms, and usually it's a little bit better after that. Obviously, I know that people want to be in there live, but if you are having issues on Twitter, I know some people have had some problems. I'd recommend that. I would like more people to go onto the YouTube over the course of time. It looks better for us if more people are on there. The watch numbers look better for us. It is what it is. Not that big of a deal. Right, it's through Periscope, through Twitter. Twitter bought Periscope, whatever. Let's get back to the game. The starts. So I went back and looked, and since game 3, so if you start with game 3 against Colorado, the Golden Knights are only down 1 goal in the first period of all the last, what would that be, 4, 5, 6 games. So they're only down 1 goal. So as much as I understand, and it's not my Wi-Fi, by the way, it's definitely not. We have fixed that problem. It's definitely not my Wi-Fi. It's an issue with what's going on with the streaming service. It is what it is. We're trying to stream on 3 platforms at the same time. We're doing it live. Technology is technology, so we're doing the best we can to get through it. I don't think the starts in this series have been good enough. I don't think that's all that difficult thing to say. I'm going to dig in a little bit more and see exactly where the issues have been. It seems, oh, there we go. Okay. It's your Wi-Fi, not mine. That makes sense. I think there's something to be said about just how they're getting to the game that they want to get to. I think there's something to be said about allowing Montreal in through the neutral zone a little bit too easy early in the games. And then as the game goes on, the forecheck seems to pick up a little bit. They lean on Montreal a little bit more. They're kind of panicking to get out of the zone. And we see the Golden Knights game get more to what it needs to be. The problem, to me at least, has been the fact that the forecheck today wasn't as aggressive and offensive as they were in the second game or in the first game. I want to look somewhat into the matchups. Obviously, it's hard to see it live. I know that Deneau was out there against the Misfits a lot, and the Misfits were fantastic in that game. However, I picked out the one shift and wrote the entire thing, which, by the way, not enough people read that, so I guess I need to go back to doing videos. More people watching the videos than reading the article. Okay, we had to test it out. I'll do videos again moving forward. That's fine. That was against the same line. So to sit here and say, well, it's Deneau being on the, or, whatever it happens to be. Thank you, White Cloud X, for reading it. I don't think the matchups are really the huge issue. I don't think they changed all that much. Obviously, Stevenson not being in the game matters. I think that's pretty clear. The power play not being very good, it matters. In games that you lose, it matters. In games you win, it doesn't. But the power play is not going to suddenly get better. They're not a good power play. It is what it is at this point. You just don't want to get beat up on it. I'm not all that worried about the power play, especially in this series. It could be better. Yes, it would be nice for it to be better next season if we can get to that point. But you got to beat these guys 5-on-5. If the Golden Knights lose this series and we want to point at power play, that's not going to be the right thing to do. We should be pointing at 5-on-5. We should be pointing at their inability to forecheck. Today, they didn't forecheck nearly as well. I'm not 100% sure at this moment, watching the game live, it felt like Vegas wasn't on top of them as much. Now, there is something to be said about understanding what is happening to you in game 1 and making the adjustment and having more answers. The one time we saw it, they did 3 indirect passes. For those who don't know, indirect passes means they bounce it off the wall to another guy or up the ice and out. It's an indirect pass behind the goal. It's an indirect pass up the wall. It's an indirect pass out, and then a chip in, and they're in. They get the opportunity. Byron puts one past Fleury. Fleury goes for the poke check. How many times is he going to stop him that we're going to love? And then the one time that he doesn't, we can't lose our mind on these. I'll get to the face-off thing later. First, I want to tell you that this Periscope and all Periscopes are brought to you by Conler & Associates CPAs. Conler & Associates CPAs are the experts in cryptocurrency tax as well as gambling tax. If you hit it big playing poker or hit the Mega Millions or any of that good stuff after the game, drowning your sorrows in slot machines, go to Conler Associates CPAs. ConlerCPA.com is the website. It's right there on the bottom for you. Tell them SinBin.vegas sent you, and they will hook you up with a free consultation. They don't charge you anything to chat and tell you what you need. So please go there. Let them do your taxes for you, whether it's currently or next year, or if you have a business or any of that good stuff. Let them figure it out for you. It's so much easier. If you hit the big one, go straight to Conler. Don't deal with it yourself. It's a pain in the ass. Okay. How confident, I'll turn off the banner and we'll put some questions up. How confident am I is one of them here. I'm still like a 9. I'm not that far off. I'm fairly confident. I don't think there's any concern of winning games up there. Obviously, I think there has to be something to be said about you didn't really want this to go this far. The Golden Knights are the better team in this series. It's going to come down to a couple things. Can they finish their opportunities? Game one, they did a better job of that today than they did today. They needed to keep doing that, and I think they will. How do I feel about Pietrangelo? I feel great. He's been awesome. He was the best player on the ice again today for the Golden Knights. I think he's been great. I think you would like more offensively out of Theodore. Whitecloud's been very good defensively. Martinez has been good when he's been out there. Holden got caught in a couple precarious situations today and dealt with them well both times. McNabb was out there for a few of the goals. I want to look at what exactly happened on each of those. Not 100% sure at this point. We got to figure out how exactly that went down. And then the main thing, like, I don't want to get too X's and O's after the game because we need to really learn what exactly happened. Like, to me, it felt like forecheck was not as powerful. And by powerful, I mean when there were board battles along the walls, when there were loose pucks, when there were opportunities for the Golden Knights to keep them in and put them under more pressure. I just didn't think they were quite as good in that area. Now, I do think there's another team that gets paid, and you have to understand that that team is going to make adjustments after a game that they get beat up, not being able to get out of their own zone. So how much of that's Vegas and how much of that's Montreal, we're going to have to go back and look and see. If a majority of it's Vegas, which I would guess more of it's Vegas than it was Montreal changing how they were breaking out, if it's that, I'm not all that worried about it. If Montreal made some massive change that I can go back and figure out in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it happens to be, then maybe we're going to have some difference in how the Golden Knights are playing up there, and we'll see. I don't think it was, to be completely honest. I really don't. This is an interesting point. The forwards, and I need to read these, can't win many games when only the D score is what the comment is. Yeah, you need more out of your offense. I think I counted 14 shots out of the forwards. All the leading shot getters were defensemen. Pietrangelo had 7. Martinez had 4. You need more out of the misfit line offensively. I understand that they have a very difficult matchup when they're going up against Deneau, Lehkonen, and Gallagher. I get that. That's fine. I still need some offense. That is not the kind of line that I think can completely shut you down to hold you to 0 shots. Yeah, maybe you're going to lose, not have as many scoring chances as they've had in the past. Sure, that's certainly possible. And then again, you're going to need more out of Pacioretty, more out of Stone, and then more out of Tuck. I didn't think Janmark had a very good game. Obviously, Wah going up to the top line didn't work. I thought Kolazar was better, which is to me more of an indictment on Wah than it is a huge positive for Kolazar. I don't think that's a good thing going forward. What do I know on Stevenson? Somebody asked that question earlier. See, I can't find it. I don't know. So wherever that is. I don't know a lot. I had a quick DM chat with Elliot Friedman today. He had mentioned on the pregame on, I think it's Sportsnet, that it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer than just today. That's concerning. It was called an upper body injury, so it doesn't seem to be what we kind of highlighted, which was that he fell on his hip. That was the one time that it felt like he was kind of in any danger throughout that series. Maybe I'll go back and look at all of his shifts to see what's going on there. They need him. There's no question they need him. I think that's pretty clear. How do we get the top 6 going? I think, first of all, it starts and ends with forecheck to me. Like, their ability to get in the zone has been there. So now it's that next step. The next step is keeping the puck there and creating multiple chances. Create chance A, then chance B, then chance C. If you go back to the story that I wrote and you look at how many opportunities the Golden Knights had on loose pucks, there were 7 loose pucks in a 38-second or whatever, 47, I think it was 46-second shift. The Golden Knights won to all 7 of them. In this game, they weren't winning to as many of them. I think that's a concerted effort for Montreal, but that's also not taking away the lanes and not winning the stick battles as much as the Golden Knights need to do. They were able to get in the zone consistently. They just weren't able to stay there and generate multiple chances. That is a little bit concerning, understanding what had happened against against Minnesota a little bit. Definitely what happened against Dallas and what happened against Vancouver. That's still in the back of all of our minds, and I think it will remain in the back of all of our minds. I don't think that's going to change. But I thought, to me at least, there were enough offensive chances. You hit the post a couple of times. Stone has the glove save that grabs him. I think there's a number of opportunities that the Golden Knights had that they just didn't bear down on and didn't capitalize on. And I'm aware that that's a huge piece of what happened in those series in the past. It didn't feel like those series to me. At least I'll put it that way. To me, they lost this game because they didn't play well enough in the first period. Why exactly that is, we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper on that. I don't think I have a good answer at that at this moment. And to be honest, Mark Stone came out and he didn't have a good answer either. So it's not, to me, like that's a piece they're going to have to figure out. I don't like calling it preparation. I don't like saying that, we just didn't have our legs or whatever. I like finding pieces of what were they doing better? What were the things that they were doing better in the beginning of that first period as opposed to later in the period? To me, I don't have those answers at the moment. I really don't. The whole Petrie eyes thing was pretty crazy. I guess, I don't even remember the official term. You'd have to go on Elliot Friedman's Twitter for it. I don't even know what it was. It has something to do with the injury and some sort of medication that he's getting, and that's something happened, and it's a blood vessel or some weird shit. I don't know. Apparently it's fine. He can play. The players all know about it. Carey Price said he looks scary. It's fine. I don't think that's that big a deal. Let me find one of the comments about face-offs that I can put up there so I can talk about face-offs. I don't know. Somebody type face-offs or something into the tweet there, or into the comments so I can put it up. So here's the thing. The Golden Knights are not going to win a majority of the faceoffs. Thank you. Leanna. Yeah, Leanna. Thank you, Leanna, for putting that in there. The Golden Knights are not the better faceoff team in this series. They were the better faceoff team in the prior series. They were the better faceoff team in the prior series before that. Against Minnesota and Colorado, the Golden Knights were the better faceoff team. In this series, the Golden Knights are not the better faceoff team. However, as I've made comments a number of times, and I will continue to make the comment over and over, you do not have to be the better faceoff team to take advantage of faceoff wins. No matter how bad you are in faceoffs, the way that the NHL goes, so many of these guys are so good. The worst team is at about 46%. I think in a series, maybe you can be down around 40, 35 at the absolute worst. What that means is you're winning 16 or 17 out of 50. It's not great, but it's not horrible. And you've seen when the Golden Knights are getting these face-off wins, they're able to take advantage of them. Those ones have to continue happening. You're not suddenly going to be a dominant face-off team and smoke this team with all these face-offs. Just not going to happen. So this time around, moving forward, you just have to take advantage of the moments that you get. The Golden Knights won game 1 and lost the faceoffs by 10. They lost game 2 and they lost the faceoffs by 10. As I've said 1,000 times, the overall faceoff number does not matter. It really doesn't. Now, every individual faceoff, whether it goes your way or it goes against you, it doesn't really matter in that you have to execute behind it. You can score when you lose a faceoff. You can score when you win a faceoff. In this series, when the Golden Knights are getting their offensive zone draw wins, especially off of icings, they've been able to take advantage of that. Would it be nice to win every single one of those faceoffs? Absolutely. However, if you are a 35% faceoff team and you get 7 of them or 10 of them or whatever, you're going to win 3 or 4. In those 3 or 4, execute the play you're supposed to execute and find yourselves a goal. That's what the Golden Knights did today. They're not going to win or lose this series off how many faceoffs they win. They're going to win or lose the series or portions of it off how well they execute when they win them and how well they execute when they lose them. When you have the empty net, sure, you would rather win them. However, when you lose a faceoff, when you have the empty net, you have an extra player, get in on the forecheck, make it difficult for them to have options, and you can make it impossible for them to exit. It doesn't really matter. Yes, it's better to win the faceoffs. That's not exactly what my point is when I say it doesn't matter. What I say and when it doesn't matter is it's about execution behind it. You're going to win a lot of them. You're going to lose a lot of them. In this series, you're going to lose more than you win. It's about the execution behind it. So far, the Golden Knights' execution behind faceoffs has been excellent. It's been excellent defensively. It's been excellent offensively. I think it could be a little bit better in the case of winning or when they lose them in the offensive zone. I think the forecheck needs to be faster. And the part of that I wonder, and I noticed it late, definitely in the third period, the Golden Knights were trying to help the faceoff more so than they were worried about the forecheck immediately if they were to lose it. I think there needs to be a focus a little bit more on that. Do we win the next game? I would say yes. I think the Golden Knights are going to be heavy favorites every single time in this series. No matter what the series number looks like, the Golden Knights will remain favorites. I think they should win every single game. Now, does that mean they're going to win every game? Obviously, it does not. I thought they would. I thought that they were going to be in a good position to win 4 in a row. It didn't happen. That's why we play 7. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that you have to suddenly believe that this Montreal team is superstars or a huge matchup issue for the Golden Knights. I just think they need to play better. And sometimes it takes a loss to make you play better. I think there are things that they can do better in this game. I think they can make life a little bit more difficult on their defense. Now, I do need to figure out how much of a difference did Petrie make? How much of a difference did Merrill make coming in? I don't think he played all that much. Those things matter. They have a little bit better personnel. They're going to be able to exit a little bit better. But to me, going up there and getting a split should not be all that hard. In fact, I think going up there and winning 2 shouldn't be all that difficult. I'm really not all that worried about it. Play a good game, they'll be fine. Yeah, okay, minus 170 for game 3. That actually seems low. I think it should be closer to 200. I would agree with we were weirdly messy. I thought that kind of got out of the way as the game went on. The first period was just not crisp. A lot of those long passes, opportunities that the Golden Knights have hit in the past, will hit in the future. They were not hitting in this game. It's not the end of the world. Like, yes, we wanted them to win in 4. Yes, we thought it was very possible for them to win in 4. Does this suddenly put them behind the 8 ball and put them in some sort of position that they're not going to win? No, I don't think so. I think they're still a heavy favorite to win. Do I see a scenario where Glass can be inserted again to add some more puck movement and a net front present? No, I do not. I think it's very clear what the Golden Knights believe of Cody Glass at this point in his career, and that is not all that much of him. They would rather lean on Patrick Brown. They would probably rather lean on Dylan Sekera. I think there might even be he might be next behind that because they really haven't played anybody else behind that. But I do not think you're going to see Cody Glass in this series at any point. Yes, the fourth line was on the ice for the goal. No, it was not Ryan Reeves' fault. He was actually one of the few guys doing the right thing, guarding his point, doing what he needed to do. I can't blame that one on him. I don't necessarily know that any of the fourth liners were particularly good today, but I don't think anybody was all that bad today. So to me, not that big a deal. They need to play better. We'll look at it. We'll figure it out. If you have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat now. I'll answer those before I get away, and then we'll go from there. The too many men penalty, I'm assuming, is the one you're talking about. I know I'm like going to be on the like minority side on this one. I didn't think it was too many men. I'm aware there are 6 men on the ice. I'm aware that there's a guy skating in the center of the ice. However, normally when that happens, when it's enough behind the play and it does not affect the play in any way. Oh, the goalie interference one. Yeah, that one was horrible. But as far as the too many men on the ice penalty, to me, it's not. Didn't affect the play. It's so far behind it. In international rules, that's too many men on the ice. In this, no. The Golden Knights are not going to get Nick Suzuki back. The question is, what's a serious trade package look like? They're not going to get him back. They're just not going to give him up. Yeah, the point goalie interference one was horrible. Power play is a huge problem, like historically bad. It's definitely not historically bad. That's factually inaccurate. The Golden Knights had 2 power plays today, and they didn't score on either of them. They haven't scored on a power play in quite a while. However, in this series, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter. The Golden Knights power play is a benefit that if it happens, great. If it doesn't, not that big a deal. Don't give up shorties. That would hurt them big time. You cannot give up a shorty. Like one. I don't think they can afford any in this series. That can lose you a game. But to me, it's a benefit. If you get an added benefit goal, great. If you don't, not the end of the world. It's not that big a deal. This one. Where is this one? Who should be centering between Stone and Pacioretty? So they don't have a lot of options. I thought they made the right option as far as who has the best chance of being the best in that spot, and that was Wah. That obviously did not work. I did not think he was good at all. Again, I need to watch the game again. We'll get more information on that, and we'll talk about that in the Twitter space tomorrow. I'll watch the game. We'll do that. Let's do it after the Tampa game. So we'll wait like 10 minutes, 20 minutes after the Tampa game, and then we'll do that because I'd like to watch that game again. And then I'll watch the Golden Knights game back before the Tampa game, and then we'll go from there. I'm not moving the Misfits, so I don't think you could take Carlson off of that line. I think maybe Janmark might be an option. I think that's something that could be considered, putting Janmark up there as the center, using his speed, giving the opportunity for him to finish those chances. I think that's probably the best option. I'm not surprised that they went to Kolazar because that then puts Tuck, Janmark, and Wah back, and that has been a successful line. I didn't think they were as successful today, so maybe that leans to having that as being the next option, but it's not that big a deal to me who it's going to be because you need Stone and Pacioretty to drag that player along. They need to be at their absolute best. No matter who they have as the center, they're better than the line they're going against. It doesn't matter which line they're going against. They have Stone and Pacioretty. If it's Kolazar, if it's Sekera, which it's not going to be because he's not a center, whoever it happens to be, it's not going to matter to me. They need to be better. They absolutely need to be better. I would say no, last change is not as big a deal in this series as it is against the Avs. This team does not have a line that you absolutely have to get the right matchup against. I think there are matchup issues that can potentially get the Golden Knights here. I think if they can get Suzuki out there as often as possible against the Golden Knights' fourth line, that could potentially put the Golden Knights in a bad position if the fourth line starts in their own end. That's kind of the biggest piece to me, is that if it's hard to get offense, and if the Golden Knights are in a position where it is going to be challenging to get offense, having a number of offensive zone starts being handed to your worst offensive line, your fourth line, is not good. So that's a piece that losing last change could potentially get them in the way in that issue. But again, I'm not expecting that to be a huge problem. Where was the other one that I wanted? Oh, this one. So Krebs has been skating for a while. He's wearing the full bubble, the whole shield and, the whole thing. He's skating with the taxi squad. I would imagine he has to get at least one practice in if there's even a thought of him going in. I think they should consider moving him back into this roster if he's healthy enough to play. Obviously, we don't know that. If he's able to skate and he has the option of skating as much as he has, and he's been out there pretty much every single day, you have to consider it. Because if Stevenson's going to be out for any length of time, I would imagine Krebs is your next best option coming off the bench. Like, I would say he's probably better than Sekera. I don't think I would put him in that role. I think I would look to have Krebs in a role where he's maybe on the third line with Wah and Tuck, and then you move Janmark up. I think there's options there. I'm not expecting it to happen. I just don't. Yes, I think Krebs is better than Cody Glass, and I think he will be better than Cody Glass in the future. I just don't think Cody Glass has enough offensive upside. I haven't seen it. I don't think we're going to see it. I've been saying this from the beginning. Why did they keep Glass over Suzuki? They valued Glass more at the time. I'm not 100% sure who Montreal actually wanted, whether they were willing to take either or how that went. But I will say, I think the Golden Knights wanted Suzuki or wanted Glass more than Suzuki. I think they valued Glass higher. I think they were wrong. At the moment when the trade was made, I don't think it was an easy decision. I don't think it looked clearly this much. I definitely don't think it's that Glass lacks work ethic. I would vehemently disagree with that. I think he's a very hardworking player. I just don't think his offensive game is all that great. That's all that I have to say on that. Where is the other one that I wanted? Yeah, I think Perry being out there against Reeves is probably a good thing for them every single time. They're going to keep looking to get that option, and they got a goal off of it today. Fourth line on fourth line is not a benefit for the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights aren't, as much as we want to talk about the Golden Knights being a deep team, they're really not. They're not deep in scoring. They're deep in usable players. They're not deep in scoring. And that line is not very good defensively, especially when Kolazar has moved up. I think Kolazar can be a decent option in his own end. I don't think he's great, but he can be fine. Will Pete change it up, or will they continue, or is it understand it was execution? I don't think much is going to change for the Golden Knights as far as systematically or what their focuses are. I don't see a ton of change coming. They don't like to change. I don't think they're going to change. I just think they're going to try and play better. If things don't go well in game 3 and we start to see some of the same issues, if they're exiting the same way, maybe we have to look to some sort of a different type of forecheck or find a different way to kind of get in these stick battles and win these stick battles more. Not that concerned about it. I do not have VGK in 6. I still have the Golden Knights in 5. I think they're going to win game 3. I think they're going to win game 4. And then I think they're going to come back here and smoke them in game 5. And I think the Golden Knights are going to go to the Stanley Cup final on home ice. It's possible my mind changes a little bit tomorrow when I rewatch the game, because I didn't feel all that bad about it. I just felt like they didn't have it in the first period. I don't like saying that in a postseason game. So this one, I didn't think it was Fleury's best game. I didn't think it was a horrible game. The one that got through him on the second goal, there's not a lot you can do. Those changeups are tough. Like, it's tough. It is what it is. The third one, he goes for the poke check. He shouldn't. Again, we've seen enough poke checks where he's successfully broken up the play and broken up a break. Some of them are going to beat him. It happens. He's been great. To me, pointing at Fleury would be ridiculous. I do not have this answer. When did Stevenson get hurt? I don't know. I looked at every single shift that had any sort of engagement, which means any hit, any block shot, any penalty that was taken on him, any of these things. The only thing I found was when he was tripped, he landed pretty hard on his hip. They wear the breezers that have hip pads in them. That shouldn't hurt that bad. He got right back up. He got hit later. Didn't seem all that bad. It didn't really seem like there was much there. Thank you. This Periscope and all Periscopes are brought to you by Conler & Associates CPAs. Go to conlercpa.com for free consultation if you tell them it's SinBin sent you. They are the specialists in cryptocurrency tax and gambling tax. If you're a poker player, go to Conler & Associates CPAs. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for tonight. No hashtag for me getting a beard. I still want my check mark. I wish I had my check mark. That's it. I'll end on this. Do not be scared. The Golden Knights are the better team. The Golden Knights will continue to be the better team. The Golden Knights almost got themselves back into this game in a game that they did not play all that well. In a game that it took them too long to get to what they needed to do, they still almost got back into the game. Yes, Carey Price is a bit concerning. He is good. He is very good. He is going to take goals off the board pretty much every single night. Fleury does it too. He will be better than he was in this game. I am not concerned. I think they will be fine. I think they will win game 3. I think they will go up there and will feel much better after game 3 than we do in this one. That's all I got from tonight. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to do the Twitter space after the Lightning game tomorrow, Lightning Islander game tomorrow. We'll do it slightly after that, and we will go from there. Thanks, Immortal Gold 17. I appreciate that. And then we'll do the Periscope after the game, after game 3 and after game 4. That's it.